You're watching Suckprofessor. Hello, everybody. It's me, Hank. I'm joined by
James.
It is the James. Hey, everybody. We're watching the Pope.
The young Pope.
The young Pope. And it's more like the sexy Pope. He's smoking. He's young. He's got a nice butt.
Which they showed twice.
We saw it twice?
I think once in the shower and once in the wardrobe.
Oh, damn it. I must have blinked. So, guys, we're not doing our full shot-by-shots for the young Pope. We're going to do a quick reaction video, kind of give a quick review for each episode, and see how people like it and want to hear what people think about it. So let us know if you enjoy the episode. But we're going to talk about it real quick. James, did you like The Young Pope, the debut episode?
I really did, and more so than I thought, because when it opened with that baby crawling across I'm going to say they were sleeping babies. I don't want to say they were dead babies, because that would be really, really creepy. But the cinematography, it was really cerebral. It was really... I was actually afraid. It's like, oh, crap, this is going to fly right over my head. I'm not going to be able to understand this. This is, like, super artistic. This is super good.
Too artistic for your simple brain?
Yes, to my plebeian brain. But then we get to the point where we get to the actual story, and it's really straightforward. It's really on the nose. It's good stuff, and we can summarize it.
Yeah, it's basically politics.
Yeah.
Two powerful people are going to have differing interests and egos, and they're going to have to navigate the violent ramifications of disagreement. Mm-hmm. Do you want to summarize it at all? Is that
the episode?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, well, basically, what I got from the episode is that a new pope has been installed, obviously. He's the young pope. He is played by Jude Law. He's 47 years old. And we find out that the cardinals, as we know, cardinals elect the pope. They vote on it when a pope dies or resigns, as our last pope resigned.
Right.
They instill a new pope.
Yes.
And in this case, the leader of the cardinals, or at least the one who kind of pulls the strings, is Cardinal Voiello.
Voiello.
Yes, who is considered to be the devil incarnate by the other popes. But he kind of persuaded the other cardinals to vote in favor of this young guy whose name was Lenny Belardo.
Voiello is the guy with the piece of chocolate stuck to his face.
Yes, the one who I kept hearing Dr. Evil go, moly, 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 moly.
Okay.
But anyway.
Man, I just want to tie dental floss around that thing and be like, all right, buddy, well, just Jesus Christ.
It's like a freaking Hershey's Kiss stuck to his face.
Come on. You're not poor. Go get that thing hacked off. I bet you, prediction, Jude Law pulls that thing off in a later episode.
And it's got a little screaming devil on the other side of it.
Yeah. It comes out like there's a small jewel on the inside. Yeah. Okay, keep going.
Oh, but anyway, they install the new Pope, Lenny Belardo, who becomes Pope Pius XIII. 13,
yeah.
My lucky number. I was born on the 13th.
Lucky number?
I was born on the 13th.
That's the evil number.
I love 13.
Friday the 13th.
Yeah, it's a good day.
Bad number.
Anyway, so they install him with the idea that he can become a puppet pope, that he can easily be manipulated, he can easily be controlled, because that's kind of what they want.
Yes.
But what happens is that...
But they already had a guy in line who was older.
Yes, Spencer, who was played by Oliver Cromwell.
Albert Cromwell.
Oliver.
James Cromwell.
Oliver Cromwell.
Who the hell's Oliver Cromwell?
Bad joke.
I've never heard
Lord
of that.
Protector of England.
Oh, shit.
Oliver Cromwell.
I still don't.
Anyway, James Cromwell, you're right.
Calm down, history professor.
I'm trying to go too fast.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Yeah, and they say, well, we got this new pope in who was actually detestable to Spencer, so what is he going to do now? Which immediately cuts to a scene of him being restrained in the shower or the bathroom when he tries to slit his wrists.
Yeah, the nuns intervene just in time.
Yeah.
Then he's boozing later. He's drinking some booze.
Yeah, and what we kind of get here is we find out that Voiello made a misstep and that this pope is not one that can be easily controlled. He is progressive. He has strange new modern ideas.
We don't know he's progressive.
Well, that he had a dream where he was what I believe to be speaking his mind to the people, which came out as being way progressive.
That opening sequence was intense, where he's like, and you forgot to masturbate and get abortions. And I was like, whoa, this guy's speaking my language.
Yeah, and priests should marry. And there was the comical scene with the cardinals where they kind of fell backwards in like a Three Stooges fashion.
I was like, what a coincidence. I'm masturbating right now. But that was, I don't know if that means he's progressive as much as it means those are the sort of the pommel horses, the things that they bring up to kind of manipulate people, and like those are the worst things you could say. So it makes sense that you would dream that. I'm saying those are the worst things you would say in their context.
Right, but the first impressions...
But maybe he is, because we haven't really seen it.
But the impression that I got of him originally is that this is not a humble man. This is not someone who believes that he is, undeserving of the position he got, because he goes to confession and he says something like, I have no sins to confess. My only sin, and it's a large one, is that my conscience accuses me of nothing.
Yes.
Which and the whole thing about was like, well, they laid out breakfast for him. They didn't know what he liked. They know he's an American, so they said we provided like a gambit of everything. And he goes, if you know me much, you know I don't eat much. I just require one thing, which is
a Diet Cherry Coke Zero.
Yes.
Or Cherry Coke.
Yeah.
I love that scene. And he's like, would you like a regular Diet Coke? And he's like, Cherry Coke Zero, bitch.
Well, he says something like, this is a heresy or blasphemy. One thing you should never do is you should never compromise.
Yeah, that was cool. There's a lot of good lines, a lot of cool lines. sounds like good acting.
Yeah, and then they say something like, well, your eminence, Voiello, is waiting for you. Is like, well, then he shall have to continue to wait, for I've not yet had my cherry Coke Zero.
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is great.
So it's all these power play stuff. It's all like, the one guy's, you got the homily, you got to get ready for this guy, you got to make these appointments, and he's like, no, I'll do that all later. And he goes, okay, we want to do this one thing right now. He goes, he's always asserting his dominance.
Yeah.
He's a crazy, raging narcissist, is what's clear to me.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And the big scene that comes up is when Voiello has his own meeting with him. And I cannot pronounce Italian names, so I'm butchering it like crazy. But anyway, Mr. V has a meeting with him, and this is where he's kind of trying to lay down the law. He's saying, okay, first of all, here's a button under your desk. You can press that, and someone will come in and save you from any conversation that you feel is going on too long or is against your interests.
Which I have here for when I get tired of James.
Yeah. And... yeah.
That's me hitting the button.
Yeah, and then secondly, he was saying, he's like, and your advisor shall be this man, and he's going to take care of you, and he's going to watch over you, and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And he gets stopped right there, and he says, actually, no, Sister Mary is going to be my confidant. She's going to be my advisor.
Yeah.
And no matter what you say, I think he even says at one point, are you deaf, or are you not listening to me, or did you... Very, very aggressive, very forward.
Yeah.
And not only does he say that Sister Mary is going to be his advisor and his guardian angel, but also Voiello's guardian angel, who will watch him and report after him.
So,
to which he protests.
And that's a big deal, putting a fucking woman in charge of one of the most powerful penis havers in the Catholic Church. And so that's obviously, aside from not letting the guy pick his own person, it's a major affront to do that, because they treat women like shit.
Yeah. And even more so before that, interrupting the guy to say, I've not yet had my American coffee. This is the most important pressing issue of the day. Not what you're telling me, but the fact that I haven't had my coffee. And actually, how about you get me my coffee?
Yeah.
To which he turns to his assistant guy and says, oh, get him some coffee.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I didn't ask him, I asked you.
As you. That'd be like George Bush telling Dick Cheney, make me a sandwich, bitch.
Yeah.
That's basically what he did to him.
Yeah.
And that was amazing.
Yeah, so this is not a pope that can be pushed around. This is basically...
You say they're just what?
Yeah, he says the one thing is that I've always had a strong aversion to tourists, and his advisor said, or the confessional guy says, why is that?
No, it was the other bearded bald guy. You're confusing the bald men.
Oh,
it happens a lot.
They all look alike to me.
We're used to being discriminated against.
No, but anyway, he says because they're simply passing through.
Yeah.
Because he had to live his whole life in this environment, being bound by rigorous rules and a constant, mental struggles with these things, and they're simply just walking through. With,
it's got to be torture. You imagine waking up with a boner and not being able to do anything about it? Come on, it's a nightmare. What the fuck? No wonder they all go crazy. And so she isn't going to be an interesting character. By the previews I looked at, I thought that she was going to be a foil to him, a heel. What's the right word?
She may become.
I think she'll. Yeah,
I think once she sees who he's become.
Yeah, exactly. I think she'll realize, oh boy, the power has really gone to this guy's head, even though I know him really well. Yeah. But she's also going to serve him in a lot of ways because she's on his team, and it's going to be really interesting how that all plays out. Yeah. So I wish I knew more about the Catholic religion and the church, because there's all kinds of little details and little rituals and symbols and things that are kind of important to that whole thing. It's a lot of those secrets are guarded, and I'm certainly been a flaming atheist for many decades. So I don't have, but I have an interest in it the way, like, oh wow, the Gryffindor, you know what I mean? Like, what a cool, like, there's some interesting shit going on.
Yeah, and I don't know anything about religion either, especially Catholicism, but the one thing that kind of messes with my head every time I see it, and maybe someone can explain this to me, is that Jesus is supposed to be a very pious, very humble man, right? Yeah. And Catholicism is centered around the teachings of Jesus, right?
Yes.
So what's with all the extravagance? What's with all the gold-laden ornaments? And that seems to be a complete antithesis to what it should all be about.
Got to spend that paper. Yeah. Got to spend that money, man.
It just doesn't make sense to me.
No, I understand. Yeah. Well, as Jesus said, put the lepers into high-risk insurance pools and make sure that they don't get health care. That's how that works.
I'd just be really interested if he could come back today and look at it and comment on the whole situation. What would he think?
Well, it's also why Pope Francis is doing some cool shit. He's washing the feet of the poor. And,
I mean, he says some stuff that I don't really care for, but he has said a heck of a lot more than any other pope I've ever seen that I'm very impressed with.
Yes, me too. And it puts some of the power structure on edge, too. And I wanted to get the new Nintendo Switch. I am excited about the new video game console.
Go Luigi!
It is a me, Pope All right. So anyway, good show. I'm really intrigued. It was way more artistic, and the music was cool. The sound design was interesting.
Some of the music was really grating on the ears, though, in the beginning.
That one scene, that was very intentional, though. I think we were supposed to feel pretty unnerved during that. It
was like a fever dream almost.
Yeah, good way to describe it. I was pleasantly surprised. It's sexy Pope. It's about time for an American to fucking take some names and kick some fucking ass and drink some coffee and some Diet Cherry Coke Zeros or regular Coke Zeros. Well, no, the diet is redundant. That's what the zero means.
Yes.
Yeah. So, okay. Let us know what you guys thought in the comments and tell us. We'll hopefully do this more. We're just doing these short ones for the Pope show. And it's going to be a great time, offending most of the listeners.
Trying not to.
Well, come on. How can you take that shit seriously, James?
No comment.
Before we go, though, I want to make sure that James is clean and pure. And James, it is time for Surprise Confessional. Bring it down. Now, I have installed a Pope hat on me, the new pontiff, who is equals with God and probably slightly better. James, tell me your sins, bitch. Confess, fuckface.
I don't think we have any subscribers left to confess to now.
That is the worst sin of all. No subscribers. Go say 14 Domino's pizzas, and you will be okay. Oh, hey, ho, ha. See, ho, he. Oh, Diet Dr. Pepper. Amen. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, James. I love you.
Goodbye.